Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste. Namaste, everyone. And this evening on page 38, we're going to begin the Sri Durgastottara Satanama Stotram, the song, the Stotram, containing the Ashta Shatana, the 108 names of Sri, the respected Durga, reliever of difficulties. Now let's recite the Sanskrit first. Sri Durgastottara Satanama Stotram Ishwaruvacha Satanama Prabhakshami Sri Nishva Kaladani Yasnastadamatrena Durga Pita Pavitsati Om Sati Sati Bhavrita Bhavani Bhavamochani Arya Durga Trayachadya Trinitra Sudatarini Pinakandarini Chitra Chandragandha Mahatava Manodira Hankara Chittarupa Chitatiti Sarvamangramati Satya Satyananda Swarupini Ananta Bhavini Bhavya 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 Sadagati Sambhavi Devamatacha Chinta Ratna Priyasada Sarva Vidya Dashakanya Dachiyagya Vinashini Aparna Nekaparacha Patala Patladati Patambara Pridara Kalamanji Brahmanjini Ameya Vikramakura Sundari Surasundari Bhagaturga Matandi Matangavuni Pujita Brahmi Maheshwari Chandri Kumari Vaishnavi Tata Chamunda Chaitavardhani Lakshmi Sharusha Kriti Bimalok Karshini Gyana Kriya Vidya Chabudira Bakula Prema Sarva Bhavana Bhavana Nishumba Shubha Hanani Mahishasura Mardini Madhukoitva Pricha Chandamunda Vinasini Sarvasura Vinasaja Sarvadana Vakatini Sarvashastra Magi Satya Sarvastra Dharini Tata Aneka Shastra Hastacha Aneka Strasya Dharini Kumari Jagakanyasha Kohishori Yudhidati Aprora Prochoiva Proracha Vritamata Balaprada Ahodari Mutikeshi Gora Rupa Mahabala Abhijwala Rodrogi Kalaratri Tasrini Narayani Bhadrakali Vishnu Maya Chaudhary Shiva Duti Karalicha Ananta Parmeshwari Katyayani Savitri Pratyaksha Brahmabhavini Yahidam Prabhate Nityam Durga Namashatashtakam Nasatyam Vidyate Devi Trishu Lokeshu Bharati Narandanyam Siddham Jayam Ayam Yastina Vivacha Chaturvakam Tata Chandre Labhi Mukti Saraswatim Kumarim Pujati Tvatu Yatva Divin Sureshwarim Pujati Paratyavakya Pate Namashatashtakam Tasyasiddhi Pate Devi Sarve Suravari Rapi Rajanurasatam Yanti Rajasri Ramabhatiya Gorochana Latatam Kukumena Sindhura Kapura Madhusrena Vilikiyam Vidina Vidiyo Pavesata Darayati Purari Boma Vasya Nishamare Chandre Satavishangate Vilikya Prabhate Stotram Samavid Samadam Hadam we'll do Achman. Om Eng Atma Tattvam Shodhyami Namaha Swaha. Om Ring Vidya Tattvam Shodhyami Namaha Swaha. Om Klim Shiva Tattvam Shodhyami Namaha Swaha. Om Eng Ring Klim Sarva Tattvam Shodhyami Namaha Swaha. And we'll wash our hands afterwards. Namo Devyati Mahadevyati Shivayati Satanama Namaha Prakriti Bhadrayati Niyataha Pranataha Smanam. And we'll worship our books, the conveyor of knowledge, the conveyor of the bhava of the goddess. Dhyatvam devim panchapujam kritva yomya pranamyachan Adaram stapyuvena stapyeta tatratustakam etiganta pushpe om ring pustakaya namaka. Offer that flower to the book and then set it aside. Now we're going to recite the mantra which removes the curses 11 times. Om Ring Kling Sring Krom Kring Chandi Kadi Yaki Thapanasta Nugraham Guru Guru Swaha. Om Ring Kling Sring Krom Kring Chandi Kadi Yaki Thapanasta Nugraham Guru Guru Swaha. Om Ring Kling Sring Krom Kring Chandi Kadi Yaki Thapanasta Nugraham Guru Guru Swaha. Ring, cling, string, crumb, cream, chandika, devaki, sapanasa, nugram, guru, guru, swaha. Ring, cling, string, crumb, cream, chandika, devaki, sapanasa, nugram, guru, guru, swaha. Ring, cling, string, crumb, cream, chandika, devaki, sapanasa, nugram, guru, guru, swaha. Ring, cling, string, crumb, cream, chandika, devaki, sapanasa, nugram, guru, guru, swaha. Ring, cling, string, crumb, cream, chandika, devaki, sapanasa, nugram, guru, guru, swaha. Ring, cling, string, crumb, cream, chandika, devaki, sapanasa, nugram, guru, guru, swaha. Ring, cling, string, crumb, cream, chandika, devaki, sapanasa, nugram, guru, guru, swaha. Ring, cling, string, crumb, cream, chandika, devaki, sapanasa, nugram, guru, guru, swaha. And now the Utkilana mantra, the mantra that opens the pin, we're going to recite 21 times. Om Sring Kling Ring Sapasati Chandike Utkilana Guru Guru Swaha. Om Sring Kling Ring Sapasati Chandike Utkilana Guru Guru Swaha. Om Sring Kling Ring Sapasati Chandike Utkilana Guru Guru Swaha. Om Sring Kling Ring Sapasati Chandike Utkilana Guru Guru Swaha. Om Sring Kling Ring Sapasati Chandike Utkilana Guru Guru Swaha. Om Sring Kling Ring Sapasati Chandike Utkilana Guru Guru Swaha. Om Sring Kling Ring Sapasati Chandike Utkilana Guru Guru Swaha. Om Sring Kling Ring Sapasati Chandike Utkilana Guru Guru Swaha. Om Sring Kling Ring Sapasati Chandike Utkilana Guru Guru Swaha. Om Sring Kling Ring Sapasati Chandike Utkilana Guru Guru Swaha. Om Sring Kling Ring Sapasati Chandike Utkilana Guru Guru Swaha. Om Sring Kling Ring Sapasati Chandike Utkilana Guru Guru Swaha. Om Sring Kling Ring Sapasati Chandike Utkilana Guru Guru Swaha. Om Sring Kling Ring Sapasati Chandike Utkilana Guru Guru Swaha. Om Sring Kling Saptasati Chandike Utkilana Kuru Kuru Swaha. Sprinkling ring 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 Saptasati Chandike Utkilana Kuru Kuru Swaha. And now the Mrtasamjivani mantra, the mantra that bestows life from death. 11 times. Om ring ring bong bong ring ring Mrtasamjivani vidya Mrtabodhapayo tapaya ring 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 bong swaha. Ring ring bong bong ring ring Mrtasamjivani vidya Mrtabodhapayo tapaya ring 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 bong swaha. Ring ring bong bong ring ring Mrtasamjivani vidya Mrtabodhapayo tapaya ring 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 bong swaha. Ring ring bong bong ring ring Mrtasamjivani vidya Mrtabodhapayo tapaya ring 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 bong swaha. Ring ring bong bong ring ring Mrtasamjivani vidya Mrtabodhapayo tapaya ring 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 bong swaha. Ring ring bong bong ring ring Mrtasamjivani vidya Mrtabodhapayo tapaya ring 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 bong swaha. Ring ring bong bong ring ring Mrtasamjivani vidya Mrtabodhapayo tapaya ring 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 bong swaha. Ring ring bong bong ring ring Mrtasamjivani vidya Mrtabodhapayo tapaya ring 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 bong swaha. Ring ring bong bong ring ring Mrtasamjivani vidya Mrtabodhapayo tapaya ring 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 bong swaha. Ring ring bong bong ring ring Mrtasamjivani vidya Mrtabodhapayo tapaya ring 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 bong swaha. Ring ring bong bong ring ring Mrtasamjivani vidya Mrtabodhapayo tapaya ring 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 bong swaha. And now the Sapavimocana mantra, the mantra that removes more of the curses. And that too, 11 times. Sring sring kling hum wing shovaya moaya Utkilaya 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 tam tam. Sring sring kling hum wing shovaya moaya Utkilaya 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 tam tam. Sring sring kling hum wing shovaya moaya Utkilaya 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 tam tam. Sring sring kling hum wing shovaya moaya Utkilaya 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 tam tam. Sring sring kling hum wing shovaya moaya Utkilaya 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 tam tam. Sring sring kling hum wing shovaya moaya Utkilaya 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 tam tam. Sring sring kling hum wing shovaya moaya Utkilaya 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 tam tam. Sring sring kling hum wing shovaya moaya Utkilaya 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 tam tam. Sring sring kling hum wing shovaya moaya Utkilaya 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 tam tam. Sring sring kling hum wing shovaya moaya Utkilaya 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 tam tam. Sring sring kling hum wing shovaya moaya Utkilaya 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 tam tam. And let's go back to page 38 and we'll begin to translate a little bit. Sri Durga, the respected Durga, the reliever from difficulties, Sri Satanama, this 108 names song, Stotram. And now the Supreme Lord said, O lotus-eyed, I elucidate 108 names by means of which the reliever of difficulties truly becomes extremely pleased. And these 108 names are indicative indicative of 108 qualities or characteristics that we devotees will aspire to inculcate into our every behavior. And that's why we have these lists of names, because each name is demonstrative in some specific way. It's different from the rest. It defines some specific quality, some specific characteristic, some specific attribute that we devotees would like to have as our own, so that we can be more like our Guru, who is the Divine Mother. So we call her the embodiment of truth, the embodiment of virtue, the lover of the universe, the embodiment of the universe, who releases the bonds of the universe, purified by knowledge, reliever of difficulties, victory, foremost, having 3 eyes, the bearer of the spear, and the spear demonstrates one pointed focus and concentration. She is the bearer of the trident, the trishul of the harmony of the threes. All the threes unite in harmony and balance as a weapon in the hand of the Divine Mother and the Divine Father. Characterized by diversity. She is unity in diversity. She is the unifying principle amongst the diverse forms and names within the creation, who makes beautiful, subtle sounds, who performs the great discipline of austerities, the mind, the intellect, the ego, purified ego, but ego. She says, that's enough. Just the form of recollection. Remember, the mind is all the subjective thoughts that we inculcate during the day. I like this, I don't like that. This is good, that's bad. This is pleasing, that's not pleasing. The intellect is all the objective facts that we contemplate. This is a book. Buddhi, that's intellect. That's a true fact. A statement of true fact is buddhi, the intellect. A statement of subjective opinion. This is a good book. The good comes from mind. The book comes from buddhi, from intellect. So all the nouns and verbs of our vocabulary of thought are the intellect, buddhi. And all the adjectives and adverbs are mon, or mind. And the form of all recollection, the chitta, is the combination of buddhi plus mon equals chitta. All of it, subjective and objective. All recollection. Consciousness. The chit, the consciousness, perceives the chitta, all the stuff, subjective and objective. The essence of all mantras. The intrinsic nature of being. Sat Chit Ananda. The intrinsic nature of the bliss of truth. Great minds rarely disagree. The intrinsic nature of the bliss of truth. Satyananda Swarupini. Infinite. Who brings forth creation. The intensity of reality. The form of welfare. Who is always the same. Look at her, she's always there. She is there for us every time we come. Who is always in motion? Would you please stop dancing? Beloved by consciousness, mother of the gods, contemplation, the beloved jewel, all knowledge, the daughter of ability, Dakshasuta. Or that's a name, Parvati, or Sati. Dakshakanya, that's fine, the daughter. And Daksh means ability. And ability has one special quality, that it always gets proud of its abilities. Every time I do something well, it's my ability. So she is the daughter of ability. And the destroyer of Daksha's yajna. Because every time that ego I ability says, I am the chief of the sacrifice, look how well I do the yajna, she comes along and destroys the yajna. And she takes away the energy from the ability, and the ability is no longer an attribute of my ego. She removes the egotism of possessing skills and abilities. The destroyer of Daksha's sacrifice. Without limbs, she's Ananga, Aparna. She has no divisions, no limbs. She's infinite. Of various colors, castes, and tribes, Savarni. Of red hue, she's like the rising sun. Adorned by red flowers, and you can see her there. We decorate her every day with red flowers, adorned by silk garments, and we give her our finest. Whose anklets make a beautiful sound. Wielder of infinite strength, who is extremely severe to egos. The beautiful one of the gods, the reliever of difficulties from the forest. And for those of us who live in a wooded forest, she takes away all the difficulties. And for those who live in a concrete forest, she takes away all the difficulties from the forest. The embodiment of thought, worshipped by the greatest of the Munis. Creative energy, Brahman. The energy of the great seer of all, Maheshwari. The energy of the rule of the pure. She is the wife of Indra, the queen of the gods. The ever pure one. The energy that pervades all. The slayer of passion and anger. The most excellent desire of union. The goddess of wealth, the maker of men. Spotlessly pure. Eminent one. Embodiment of wisdom. Embodiment of action. Eternal. Bestower of wisdom. Extensive love. The carrier of all carriers. The slayer of self-deprecation and self-conceit. The slayer of the great ego. The annihilator of too much and too little. The destroyer of passion and anger. The destroyer of all egotistical thought. The slayer of all duality. The essence of all scriptures. Truth. The bearer of all weapons. She has the sword of worship. She has the spear of concentration. She has the club of articulation. She has the discus of revolving time named excellent intuitive vision. the bearer of all weapons. With numerous weapons in her hands, the bearer of numerous weapons, the ever-pure one, the sole daughter, incomparable beauty, eternal youth, an ascetic, never aging, advanced in age, mother of old age, call me my mother an old lady, the giver of strength, great eminence, with loose hair, of formidable appearance, one of great strength, shining like fire, a fearful face, the dark night of overcoming egotism, the performer of severe spiritual discipline, exposer of consciousness, excellent one beyond time, measurement of the all-pervading consciousness, who came from the waters. Remember when Lakshmi was born from the ocean? The ambassador of consciousness. Formidable one, infinite, supreme sovereign, ever pure one, bearer of light, perception of the gross world, who speaks of infinite consciousness. O Goddess Parvati, he who recites, and she who recites, these 108 names of the reliever of difficulties every day will find no difficulties in the three worlds. He or she will find wealth, food, sons, a loving wife or spouse, horses, elephants, and the four objectives of human life: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. At the end of his earthly existence, he will attain eternal liberation. One should worship the ever-pure one and meditate upon the female ruler of gods with the highest selfless devotion. Then the recitation of these 108 names should be commenced. O Goddess, who performs in this way attains the highest perfection of the gods. Kings become his or her servants, and he or she commands the wealth of kingdoms. With fragrant gum, lac, red powders, that's sindur. The fragrant gum and the lac is the duro that we make a kind of incense. It's the sap from the trees mixed together with scent, and it becomes a perfume or an incense. Camphor, ghee, sugar, and honey. One should draw the graphic representation of this truth according to the rules laid down in the scriptures. If you can draw the yantra, the knowledgeable one who wears such an inscription becomes one with the consciousness of infinite goodness. If you can draw the yantra, if you can make a kavach, if you can make a tagaj, if you can put it on your, worship the yantra on your plate, you become one with Shiva, the consciousness of infinite goodness. On the evening before the new moon day, known as Bomavati, that is, if the evening before Amavasya is on a Tuesday, when the celestial configuration is in the asterism known as Shatabisha, one who recites these mantras by putting them in writing becomes the Lord of wealth. So, if you have an astrological configuration known as Shatabisha, and you can, and it's a Tuesday, and it's Chaturdasi, Krishna Paksha. If you recite these mantras by putting them in writing, write these mantras, recite these mantras, you become the Lord of wealth. Om. And now we'll take a few sips of water. Om, wisdom, I purify the principle of the soul. I bow, I am one with God. May only wisdom come through my lips. I am washing my hands and I'm washing my lips so that they're purified from all the extraneous chatter that comes through my mouth. May only wisdom come through. Oh my eye, purify the principle of knowledge. I bow, I am one with God. May only knowledge be spoken through this instrument. Om transformation and clean. Ka is the cause, and La is the gross body, and E is the causal body, and Anuswar is perfection. And clean bija, we're calling it here transformation. It means the perfection of the merging of the gross body into the causal body in the state of perfection. I purify the principle of infinite goodness. I bow, I am one with God. Om wisdom maya transformation, aim ring clean. Mahal Saraswati, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali, Srishti, Stiti, Loy, Rajas, Sattva, Tamagunas, all of the threes. I purify all principles. I bow. I am one with God. And now we're on the way to being pure. I bow. We bow to the goddess, to the great goddess, to the energy of infinite goodness. At all times we bow with every behavior. We either bow nicely or we bow not so nicely, but we bow with every action. We bow to nature, to the excellent one. With discipline, we have bowed down. And when we create a discipline for ourselves, then we're more assured that it's going to be a good bowing rather than a bad bowing. Everyone, take a bow. With discipline, we have bowed down. And then we know it's a good bow. Meditate upon the goddess and offer her 5 articles of worship. You choose the 5. Pushpam, Patram, Toyam, Phalam, Yome, Bhaktya, Pragachati. Whoever will offer me a flower, a leaf, a little water, or a fruit, that I will accept with love. And then bow down to her, establish the primal energy with the Bij mantra, and then establish the book. Om Hring Pushtakaya Namah. With these scented flowers, we bow to the book. And now, these mantras of the Chandi Path are so powerful that they've been cursed by Brahma, Vashishta, Vishwamitra, and others. And we are going to take all pains to remove the curses because we don't want to abuse our tool. The curse says that if these mantras, this Chandi Path is a scripture, a holy scripture, a tool for personal transformation. It is an opportunity to surrender your selfishness and become a servant of God, to unite with God. The curse says anyone who abuses the tool and uses this scripture and these mantras for their personal selfish gain, they won't have a tool by which they can surrender their selfishness. Think about it. It's quite a curse. If you don't have a tool, when we don't have a tool, we wallow in selfish considerations and we're possessed by egotism and selfish attachment. And it perpetuates itself until somebody hits us over the head and says, hey, there's a tool by means of which we can surrender the selfishness of egotism and fill ourselves with the bliss of infinite consciousness. That tool is the Chandi Path. Don't abuse it. Don't misuse it. Don't say, I'm going to chant these mantras, give me my priestly fee, give me some dakshina. I will change your karma because of my worship. If you make this the tool of your earning livelihood, if you go out and sell mantras, if you go out and charge for pujas, then what are you going to do to change yourself? That's the curse. Now, in order to remove the curse, we have to remember, why are we chanting the Chandi? Why? What is this for? And we begin by the mantra which removes the curses 11 times. All existence, transformation of the gross body merging into the causal body, imperfection, increase, and that is the highest respect. Sha means Shanti, Ra means your mind, E means your heart, Anuswar means perfection of peace in your mind and your heart, the cause of dissolution in the gross body, the cause of dissolution in the causal body, to the goddess, she who tears apart thoughts, take away the curse, take away the curse. I am one with God. Please remember, before you start chanting the Chandi, I am one with God. That is the purpose of our sadhana, our tapasya. Then we're going to open up the key, the Utkilana mantra. Remember, there's a deadbolt lock, a pin that shuts the door to the secret of it locks the door, it protects the secret of the Divine Mother. Om, increase, shrine, increase in respect, increase in true wealth, increase in peace, transformation, all existence, the 700 verses of the Chandi. Remove the pin, remove the pin. I am one with God. And now we're going to recite the mantra that bestows life from death. All of us have been suffering a spiritual death by ignoring our spiritual being. And now we want to revive ourselves and come back into spiritual life. And we recite the mantra, Om, all existence, vibrations, vibrations, wisdom, wisdom, oh, knowledge that bestows life from death, raised from death, transformation, all existence, vibrations. I am one with God. And we're invoking all of these vibrations that come from the articulation of these mantras to consume us, to submerge ourselves in those vibrations, forget about all of our little attachments and our problems and our difficulties and our little egotistical selves, and become one with all existence. And that's the efficacy of the Chandi, and that is spiritual life. That's the spiritual life that we're seeking to live, rather than wandering around in this death, where all I can think about is me and mine. And that's a pretty gross death. This is the way to return to life. And now we're going to recite another mantra that removes other curses. Om, increase, and that's Shreem, that's the peace in my body, the peace in my mind, the peace in my heart, the perfection of peace, increase, transformation, cut the ego, erase the fears of ignorance, remove the pin, remove, devotion. And we're praying for devotion because I can't pay attention unless I love it. And I force myself to pay attention, and I'm always looking out the window. But when I fall in love, my attention is natural. It's a fact of my life. It's not a discipline of my life. It's because I love it. Now, if I could teach myself how to fall in love and inspire myself with the discipline, the discrimination by which I choose the right things to fall in love with. Wow! What quantum leaps I make in spiritual development. That is my evolution. Choosing the right things to fall in love with and cultivating that love affair, and now making that love into true devotion. True devotion. And now we have removed the first set of curses so that we are qualified to enter into the mystery of the Chandi. Let's pause here and see if there are any questions.
Swamiji, the Mrtasamjivani mantra,
Yes.
Is it possible, is it appropriate to chant just this mantra independent of the Chandi part? To take a sankalpa to chant it?
Yes, it is. You can use this as a japa mantra. However, it's more efficacious in the context of the Chandi because it's going to round out and fulfill an entire discipline of sadhana. But yes, you can take any one of the mantras of this entire composition of Chandi and use that as japa. And it's a wonderful thing to do. Do you know, if you took one mantra a day and made japa of the 700 mantras, in less than 2 years, you would have the entire Chandi memorized. If you did one mantra a day, and just think, how many times does it say Rishi Uvacha? How many times does it say Namastasye? Namastasye. Namastasye Namo Namaha 66. And that counts within your 700 mantras. So yes, take any one of the mantras from the Chandi and use it for japa. That is totally legal. You're allowed to do that. Encouraged to do that. But take the whole Chandi pot from beginning to end and it counts as one mantra. And it's enough to transform our lives.
Question from Devi from Atlanta.
Namaste, Devi, and thank Angel for blessing our computers tonight.
What is lac and fragrant gum? I have not been able to find them.
Lac is pine pitch, and fragrant gum is the sticky stuff that comes out of the pine pitch. When you take the pine pitch and then if you rub it between your hands will stick really tightly together, and it forms a gum. And then the gum, you roll it up into a ball, and it's called dhup. And that dhup it burns like an incense. And when you roll it, first you roll it into a ball, and then you roll it on a flat surface, and you make it into a spindle type structure. And then you can combine some fragrance, other scents with it. And that's actually how we make incense. The incense is different because it has a stick in the middle. And then they take the stick and they roll it in the lac, in the fragrant gum, which is mixed with pine pitch and various other herbs, if you like, or they take the stick after it's rolled in pine pitch very thinly, and they dip it into an oil, like a sandal oil. And that's how you make sandalwood incense. Or musk oil, or whatever oil, or you can pour the oil into the gum and then just roll the stick, and it becomes an incense stick. And that's why, excuse me, at the bottom of the incense stick, you can always see there's a little piece of wood. The stick is sticking out. And above is the gum which has dried onto the stick. And then when you burn it, it just burns down very slowly.
Question from Vidya from Malaysia.
Namaste, Vidya.
Pranam Swamiji, is this a separate puja of its own or is it part of the cosmic puja?
This is a separate puja of its own, however, it is also incorporated into the cosmic puja. Especially the Shatanam, the 108 names are included as the stotram in the cosmic puja, which worships Durga. But all of this precedes the recitation of the Chandi. So generally in our Devi Mandir we perform the cosmic puja and then we perform the Chandi. And then some of the elements of the cosmic puja are repeated again. And that makes a full padhoti. It says in the text though that at least you want to offer 5 articles. And in the cosmic puja we have what is called Raj Upachar. There are several articles offered.
A question from Kumari. Pranam Swamiji, follow up from last night's class, the verse Sarva Bada Prashamanam.
Yes.
Can a Swamiji comment on the meaning of this mantra and if it could be effective to include during daily practices?
Absolutely effective for daily practices, and Srima, we used it as our as a sankalpa for all of last year. And this sarva baba, all vigna, all obstacles, all disturbances, all limitations, prashamana, you terminate them, you wipe them off. You knock them off. Trilokya Akileshwari, you are the supreme sovereign of all the 3 worlds. Evameva, in just the same way, Tvaya, from us, to you, Karyam Asmadvi Brivinasana, remove all hostility, Bahiri. Nashanam, destroy all hostility, all duality, all conflict. Remove from us all hostility, all conflict, all confusion, every form. So in this way, Kumari, this is an excellent Japa mantra. This mantra, it just continually reinforces the inspiration that God and the Goddess, the Divine Mother, is always with us, her children, and she's destroying all the conflict and all the confusion, all the hostility, all the animosity, all the confrontation. She's diffusing every confrontation. And this gives us a lot of strength because we meet every conflict and confusion and confrontation with equanimity, peace, the knowledge that the Divine Mother is with us. And she's not going to allow us to suffer. Excellent mantra.
Question from Janitri from Virginia.
Namaste, Janitri.
Swamiji Pranam, is there a reason for 11 and 21 recitations of the mantras?
Yes, there is. And there are so many reasons. But actually, the 11 stands for the Ekadas Rudra, the 11 forms of Rudra, and the 21 are the various forms of the moon. So there are numerological forms. You can do 108 times each mantra. It will prolong your asana. It will be very good for you. You can also, but however, these 11 and 21 are written in the scripture.
Question from Usha from Canada.
Namaste, Ushama. Namaste, Neil.
Swamiji, these mantras, the Sapavimocana mantras, are not part of the Siddha part. Does that matter? And yet the Siddha part is considered to be a complete recitation.
Yes, Usha, the Siddha part is a complete recitation of the 700 verses of the Chandi. If you want to do the entire Padoti, you will read the book from cover to cover. Sometimes when I was a sadhu, I used to read every day, several times a day, from cover to cover. Now that I am the administrator of an ashram, I don't have the time. So I have to use the shorter part. And sometimes I get a holiday. These last few days, some of my friends have inspired me to, they've been leading me in chanting at least some Put-Pat. And so we get to change the style of our chanting according to the necessities of our karma. And that's the way of life. It's not one way. It's only one way if you have no more karma left, and I haven't met such a soul yet.
Question from Ambika from New Jersey.
Namaste, Ambika Ma.
Namaste, Swami.
Namaste, Sham.
In the light of the curse, is it more important to chant every day, even if my focus is not strong or proper? Or should one not chant the Chandi if you're not able to get to properly stay focused? In that case, what can we do to increase our focus?
Don't ever hesitate to chant the Chandi. Chant more. And don't worry about whether you're paying attention. I had an agreement with the Divine Mother. I said, look, I can't control my mind. That's up to you. But I promise you one thing. I can control my knees. And I'm not going to move my knees. Now, my mind will go wherever it goes, but I'm not moving my knees. So I can't get up and run after it. And that was my agreement with the Divine Mother. Chant, Ambika. Don't hesitate to chant. Don't worry about where your mind goes. That's her problem. You put your body there and say, I'm not moving my body. I don't care where you send my mind. And pretty soon, the mind is going to say, hey, aren't you coming with me? And you say, no. And after a while, that mind says, oh, well, nothing, can't beat him, I'm going to join him. Better sit here with you. Otherwise, where would I be without a body?
Question from Devi. Do we have to be initiated in the yantra before we do that part of the puja mentioned in the Chandi?
Devi, it's a very good idea. It's a very good idea. So I'm just going to give you initiation right now. I'm going to tell you to draw the yantra freehand, without any tools, just a pencil and paper. Actually, my guru had me with a piece of incense and some sandal paste ground into a liquid paste, and I drew it on a plate. And draw the yantra. And when you come here next, we'll see how you draw the yantra, and we'll take the initiation to the next level. As you draw the yantra, Devi, please recite the name of each deity who sits on each place in the yantra, the meaning of each line, the meaning of each angle, the meaning of the circle, and the meaning of the lotuses. And as you draw the yantra, recite the meaning of the yantra and recite the names of the deities who sit in the various places of the yantra and become very, very familiar with it. Yantra means a tool, and a tool of understanding. Actually, it's a graphic representation of the roadmap. How do you move from where we are in duality to being at the feet of the goddess who is unity? How do we merge? What is the map? That's called the yantra. So yes, I request you, if you have time to add to your puja, go ahead and draw the yantra every day. And when you have a beautiful depiction of the yantra, either you can send it to me or bring it to me yourself. We'll talk about it more when you come.
So Swamiji, question from Kumari. Is everyone qualified to read the Chandi? What prepares a devotee for understanding this holy scripture?
A sincere devotion and a sincerity which requires us, it's incumbent upon us to move closer to God, closer to God, closer to God. And when that becomes our intrinsic nature, our inherent nature, it's coming from within. I want to come closer to God, and I believe that this path can take me there. You are qualified. Those are the qualifications. So please, don't hesitate to chant. It's a valuable tool for all of us who are sincerely yearning to enhance our spiritual lives. No doubt. Nasamsaya.
Question from Tukaram from Iowa.
Namaste Tukaram, namaste Melody.
If we have a choice to do puja or homa, which should we do?
100 pujas is equivalent to one homa. But you have to perform the puja before you do the homa. So, it's not an either-or situation. Before you are qualified to do the homa, you must perform the puja. At least, here it said panchopachar, at least 5 articles. And that means your puja would be 20 minutes to 45 minutes. If you do the cosmic puja, it'll be 2.5 hours to 3.5 hours before you start the homa. But you will perform puja before the homa.
What is the difference in the benefit from doing the full version of the Chandi versus performing the Siddha part?
The full version of the Chandi is for people who are absolutely lazy. Remember the important adage. Some people are good for some things, other people are good for other things, but sadhus are good for nothing. Because they have the time to sit there and read the entire Chandi. And because they are true devotees, they did the puja first. So they did the puja and they did the Chandi Pat, and it's lunchtime. And then because they got up early in the morning, it's time to take a rest. And then in the evening time, somebody's going to explain to them the meaning of the verses. And when you look around, life has gone by in the most blissful environment. Is it true? Some people are good for some things, other people good for other things, sadhus good for nothing.
Question from Janitri. Why did the gods choose Sanskrit for this and other holy texts?
Oh, Janitri is Sanskrit. It's the word itself. It just tells us the whole story. Creed means to do. San means all together. What do we do together? We communicate. The name of the language of our communication is doing together. Sanskrit gives rise to sabhyata. Bha means to shine. Sab means all together. By doing together, we shine together. And that's what we call in English civilization. A little bit awkward, but civilization means shining together. And Sanskrit means doing together. And from doing together, we shine together. And that's the language of our communication with God. And that's why we're using that as a medium by which we can communicate between devotees and God. Just like the Eskimos have so many different words for kinds of snow, in the same way, Sanskrit has so many different words for different various states of consciousness. I can write volumes of books about it, and I can never really communicate what that experience is like. The rishis ultimately threw up their arms arms and said, Neti, Neti. It's not this, it's not that. I can't tell you what the experience is like, but I can tell you the steps along the way. And that's why we use Sanskrit lately. Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste.